In the headlines, St. Lucian's charged in first murder case for the year. Juvenile Reform Center is still on government's plan. And new legislation on public order to advance this year. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. We'll be back with the details after this. Thank you for staying with us. Topping the news, 2 St. Lucians are among 4 men jointly charged with murder of a Falkole man whose body was found in the heights of St. Joseph. Here is more on that story.
Fimba Mohammed Greenidge and Gary Elwin Daria, both of St. Lucia, and Ronel Desiree of Girardel and Kimran Burke of Bath Estate have been remanded at the state prison after formally being charged at a Roseau Magistrate Court for the death of Chris Blah. Blah, who lived in Antigua, was last seen on December 30, 2016 at St. Joseph visiting friends, according to the police. He was reported missing on January 2. Blah's partly decomposing body was discovered in a small precipice on January 5th in the heights of St. Joseph. According to the court, the men are expected to reappear in court on February 21, 2017 for that matter. They were not required to plea upon their arraignment since murder is an indictable offense. One of the St. Lucians accused, Gary Elwin Daria, is also charged with possession of cannabis and possession to supply 148 grams of cannabis. He pleaded not guilty and the matter was adjourned to March 20, 2017.
National Security Minister Raymond Blackmore supports the idea of a juvenile reform center. Blackmore said a juvenile center is part of his ministry's vision.
What we want to say to the young boy or the young girl who have gotten his or herself in some issues with the law, that we do not want to expose you to the full extent of the criminal justice system. So we want to work with you. And that is how we want to work with you.
The creation of a family court is also on the Ministry of Justice's agenda.
Much has been spoken about the family court. That is a very important area that we have to actually pursue in the new year going forward, 2017. And we have to find a much more standardized way in dealing with family matters in this country, matters relating to juveniles, divorce, child maintenance. We also have to ensure that we have the necessary infrastructure to give support to the family court, and specifically in the area of having a proper juvenile center for young persons who actually find themselves with difficulty with the law.
In more news, a trip on Memory Lane, Portsmouth will not be the same again for many visitors and residents alike. Idona Jean-Baptiste explains.
One less entertainment spot in the town of Portsmouth as the popular Memory Lane disco is no more. The building was burnt to the ground Friday night, leaving the owner with damage exceeding $300,000. Cadrec, a spare parts store neighboring the disco, suffered extensive damage. Part of the building housing Mapao Casino was also slightly affected. Eyewitnesses told Channel 5 News the fire spread in quick time. The owner of Memory Lane Disco says he detected the fire after returning to the business from his home.
Even the staff was there, didn't realize anything was happening. But I smelled a funny, like, plastic rubber, like, you know, like electrical rubber thing burning. So then I said, but you guys are smelling that. So then they're like, no, we smell a little thing. So when I opened the back, I saw there was flames at the rooftop between myself and the other building. So I quickly ran out. I ran to the back where I have some propane tanks, and I closed it off quickly, just in case, you know. And there from that I went, because the fire station is not too far from me, just about 3 minutes away, you know. So I just immediately went to the fire station and let them know about the fire.
The PRO of the Fire and Ambulance Services told us that investigations are still ongoing into the cause of the fire. John Baptiste says he can only say the fire originated between his building and the nearby Cadrec building.
My entire sound system pretty much consumed. I would say we anywhere between $350,000 to $400,000 total loss. I came back to Dominica for one reason, to reinvest my talent and knowledge that I got from the United States and see how I could help people out and just, you know, I like to employ people. Being in the entertainment business, even in Miami, I decided to, you know, channel that, you know, that talent down here. I believe I have the strength in me to bounce back.
In a related story, a shortage of fire hydrants in Portsmouth has been identified as a catastrophe waiting to happen. Former fire officer and resident of Portsmouth, Mon16thJan2k17News, was one of the men assisting to put out the fire on Memory Lane. Savre was unimpressed that the nearest fire hydrant was more than 300 feet away from the incident.
If there were hydrants in the area, the firemen would have been able to do a much better job. But due to lack of hydrants in the area, the firemen had to go as far as the National Bank to be able to relay water from the hydrant. And yet still the water that was relayed from the hydrant, the pressure was very low, and the firemen could not get the amount of water they needed to extinguish the fire. The next closest hydrant was way down by Credit Union.
Savre says he would normally assist during such disasters.
So it would have been good if the WASCO can at least put up a few more hydrants in the area to assist the firemen in the event of fires. If it's not that, it could be a catastrophe taking place in this part of the island at any time.
Teachers of grades K and 1 from around the island get on board an initiative aiming to up students' performance on a national and regional level. Monday marked the start of the 2-week Early Learners Program workshop, which resulted from a partnership among 3 major stakeholders: USAID, OECS, and the Ministry of Education.
We target the early years, the students from K up to grade 3, so that their performance, their improvement, will permeate through the system. You will well agree that if we target the students in the early years, then the end result will be improvement of performance across the board. We believe as a ministry that teacher growth and development, building capacity, is at the hub of whatever we do in education. If we don't ensure that our teachers are updated with their knowledge and skills, then we would not be doing justice to the system.
The Assistant Chief Education Officer says that thus far, results have shown an improvement in children's performance. However, there is more work to be done.
We have been making gains, sometimes fluctuating in terms of our students' performance at grade 2, 4, and 6 level based on our snapshot tests, our national assessments. And our analysis of the results show that while we have been making tremendous strides, we still have work to do. We still have quite a bit to do. It is not only about training you and sending you to the schools. We are going to be following up quite intensely. So another segment of this entire program is the support at the school level.
2-week training sessions will target teachers of grades 2 and 3 at later dates. Stay tuned, we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Attorney General Levi Peter says government expects to present a comprehensive public order bill to Parliament in early 2017. He said that the proposed legislation will comprehensively deal with public order.
Over the years, we have had a Public Order Act in Dominica. It's of quite some vintage, and it is not, in my view, fit for purpose. The new Public Order Act is expected to more comprehensively address public order situations and to bring our public order legislation more closely aligned to that of other jurisdictions in the region and indeed internationally. It will cover things like public meetings, the circumstances in which they can be held, what authority is required, what offences will be created in marches, processions, and so forth.
Peter added that riots, violent disorders, among other offenses, will be more clearly defined. He also added that a group of family-related legislation, procurement legislation, a bail bill, and legal professions bill are expected to be passed to Parliament this year. Meantime, the general review of Dominica's law is expected to benefit from additional qualified personnel working at the Law Review Commission's office from March 2017. Consultant and head of the commission, Ray Harris, says this is possible through government's efforts and the Commonwealth Fund for Technical Cooperation.
Considering the initial commitment of the Commonwealth Secretariat, CFTC, and the volume of work entailed in doing a general law revision, the government of Dominica submitted a proposal, a request to the Commonwealth Secretariat. And after tremendous back and forth, a lot of correspondence, eventually CFTC, thankfully, has agreed that from March 2017, this year, a lawyer will be assigned to the Law Commission office to assist me and the Law Commission office in completing the general law revision for Dominica.
Medical doctor Sam Christian believes the benefits and disadvantages of marijuana use must be properly weighed before moving forward with legislation. He was speaking at a recent panel discussion to observe Drug Awareness Month.
It has to be done very carefully. It has to be done to allow for the medical benefits that were so well articulated beforehand. But it also has to be done in a way so that our young people's minds don't get messed up, that they stay motivated, that they continue to study hard and make us proud as a country. It has to be done within the context of our security, our police force. It has to be done with the blessing of our churches that have active discussions and so forth. If we were to just make a blanket legalization of marijuana in Dominica, it would attract a lot of undesirable people. We wouldn't want somebody coming to Dominica thinking that you could just come here and do what you want, smoke, get high, and cause all kinds of problems.
Christian went on to note that marijuana use is accurately linked to psychological disturbances, people becoming demotivated, and drug trafficking, and warned that young people are most vulnerable. Meantime, Assistant Superintendent of Police and Police Prosecutor Claude Weeks said there are many risks in the abuse of marijuana.
Research rather has shown that marijuana can increase the likelihood of schizophrenia. Let's break it down to simple English: madness. And there's a testimony, there's evidence of that. As a prosecutor in the courts for over 18 years, I have no doubt that the use or abuse of marijuana, given the 450 to 500 chemicals that's in it, if at least there are some chemicals that good or there are some properties to the human body, indeed there are those that have a negative impact on the body as well.
Rental properties have been identified to relocate fire-stricken families of Silver Lake. While government holds discussions with owners of 9 houses for rent, those displaced are being housed at the Bath Estate Community Center and the Rosa Youth Center on High Street. Those now at the Youth Center were previously at the Rosa Primary School. The Prime Minister has said 8 apartments currently under construction at Silver Lake should be completed in 2 to 3 months. He also said families with children and the elderly will be given priority in the selection process for these government-funded apartments. Henley & Partners, the citizenship planning firm whose chairman was featured on a CBS 60-minute feature on Caribbean citizenship by investment programs, has distanced itself from the TV production. The Europe-based company has described the 60-minute January 1st program as one-sided. Its chairman, Dr. Christian Kalin, in a recently released press release, criticized how CBS producers used his interview for the production titled Passports for Sale. Kalin says his comments aired have not properly communicated the context in which he spoke. Of course, there is always room for improvement, but generally speaking, the Caribbean has well-governed and secure programs, he explained. He continues, open quote, "I believe that major countries such as the U.S. actually recognize those facts and will continue to work with the Caribbean governments to further strengthen the measures already in place. No Caribbean government is interested in having their CIP cause a problem to the international community." End quote. Kalin says the programs are of vital economic interest in the region and have helped several economies, notably St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, as well as Antigua and Barbuda, to sustain sufficient capital inflows during economically challenging periods. Prime Minister Skerrit weighed in on Kalin's press statement on the hang, commending him for agreeing with the Dominica government. Mr. Skerrit says government's account of how CBI funds are being used is more transparent than any other government running such a program in the region.
And we believe that our program is one of the most, if not the most transparent in the world. We're the only country where it forms part of the budgetary presentations in the parliament. It is embedded in a constitutional requirement in our parliament, which is the estimates, which is a piece of legislation. So when you go to the estimates, you could see a specific line items referencing the CBI, which tells you how much we project to raise in the financial year, and it details how those resources which you intend to raise, you expect to raise, will be spent during the financial year. You understand? Mm-hmm. And in the following financial year, as you will see in 2018, or 2017, sorry, June, July of 2017, you will see how much we actually raised, and a detailed listing of how those monies were spent. And in supplementary appropriations, the CBI funds is specifically differentiated from the rest of the other funds. So you will see loans, you will see grants, you will see local resources, and then you will see the CBI.
And Delia Etienne of Bioche was taken by surprise on Friday when Marpin's staff visited her community to present her with a new Samsung Smart TV. Etienne is the winner of Marpin's Christmas promotion. Customers were asked to zero their balance in December to qualify for the draw.
I said, God, oh Lord, make me give that TV. So I pulled my name and I give it to her. She said, you missed one number. I said, okay, I'll put the other number. And then I'll wait. And today, oh my God.
Marpin thanks tech heads for partnering with us on this promotion. That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
First up, Marino Blasters enjoyed a 9-wicket victory while Police Sports Club won by 5 wickets in action from the MMCE DCA Premier and Intermediate T20 finals on Sunday. An aggressive bowling attack from the Marino Blasters team saw wickets falling at regular intervals, which restricted Granby Coast to 76 all-out in 18 overs. Alec Athanas scored 29 and Lex 18. Durrani Charles took 3 for 12. In reply, Marino Blasters only lost 1 batsman to Cole's bowling attack and finished on 79 for 1 in 11.3 overs. Kyle Cabey added 33 and Dino Burton 17. Captain of the Blasters side says the team took a humble approach to the game.
We didn't come here like overconfident, you know, we just came here humble, like expecting like a fight from Granby, but then they didn't bring it. So, and our guys, our bowling was on top. I mean, although we missed our key spinner, that's young Cohen Dupin, who took about 4 wickets in the semis, and then Gideon Tyson, who bowled really well. 2 of them were getting some injuries, so we came in for a new bowler, and that's Durrani Charles. He took 3 wickets in the game, so that was very good.
Captain of the Granby team says the conditions at the final were not favorable.
The condition, the lights, our first time playing on the lights, and the condition wasn't really suiting us. Kind of blurry. We were really picking up the ball at the first half of the game, so kind of like it was the light situation our first time, so I guess that maybe was the issue.
Meantime, in the Police Sports Club versus Point Michelle Cricket Academy match, PMCA took first knock and scored 159 for 5. Kasim Peltier was undefeated on 92, while Taj Tavernier chipped in with 29. Erwin Burton picked up 2 for 16 and Caleb Challenger 2 for 34. Set 160 for victory, Police replied with 160 for 5 in 18.5 overs. Brian Felix 81 not out and Daryl Damier 35. Nigel John Lewis took 2 for 36. Daryl Damier is captain of the Police Sports Club.
It was always very difficult for them. And there was a certain period in the time when they came hard at us, they scored 159. And when Brian Felix and myself came in the crease, I believe we were like 40 runs. And I decided to go hard at them because I knew the experience would pay off. And I went hard at them, I scored a few boundaries, and Brian Felix eventually got the ball ticking. And that was the difference, actually. We didn't feel that well, but our batting was very good. And I believe the pressure, they felt the pressure. They buckled under the pressure. They couldn't. They were wondering what to do. They were not sure of where to pitch the ball, and we took advantage of that. I believe that the partnership between Brian Felix and myself paid off, and that's why we were victorious.
And the captain of the Point Michelle Cricket Academy says the match was competitive.
The first part of the game we batted well. We scored a reasonable target which we could defend. But in our fielding, we were complacent in our fielding, in our catches win matches. So we got some crucial catches, and concentration in the field started to lack. Players that are losing concentration because of the partnership was not getting tight. So the experience started to count in the latter stage of the game, which I expected from my players. There were a lot of national players which were supposed to be helping the team.
Moving on to First Division football, where DFA reports say Newtown Juvenile Football Academy Harlem United beat Andy Williams Spartans 4-0. Trafalgar FC won 4-2 against St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Delton United, and Boston Warner and Skerrit Northeast played 2-2 all draw. In results from the Premier Division, Central Cooperative Credit Union Dublin Football Club moved one step closer to retaining their championship title with a 3-0 win against Middleham United. Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers had similar results with a 3-1 victory against Waukee Rollers. Petro Caribe Point Michelle drew 3-all against Bath Estate FC, and the game between Sagicor Southeast and Exodus FC finished 0-all. Next up, former West Indies T20 skipper Darren Sammy says he's hoping to add his experience as an international cricketer to bring value to the Windwards Volcanoes team in the upcoming Nagico Super 50. This as the St. Lucian joins the ranks of the locally based team after being unavailable for a few years.
My experience, first of all, and my all-round ability. Just look, after I leave, after I've played all the games, we're in a good position. But with that said, it's a format that Windward Islands have done really well in. I think 4 or 5 years ago we won the tournament, and we've been in the semi-finals consistently over the years. I'm a Windward Islands player. That's where I started playing. Over the years I've learned that everybody is entitled to an opinion, and I respect that, but I've not played because I've not been available, and this year I saw in my schedule that I was available to play half the tournament for Windward Islands.
Sports continues with this item, where the Sports Division will be hosting the 2017 Primary Schools Table Tennis District Festival from Tuesday to Wednesday at 9 venues. Officer at the Sports Division, UD John, says the games have seen increased attraction over time.
Over the years, the participation has grown tremendously as a result of the standardized PE program that we have at the primary schools. Resulting from that, during the annual table tennis championships, which takes place in February, it was impossible to accommodate all the entries over the 2-day period. Thus, the team events had to be cancelled and the open singles were played on a straight knockout basis. So in order to give the students a sufficient amount of playing time and playing opportunities, the district festivals are being introduced where the schools will compete in team events using the ABC XYZ system. When this is done, we have the schools competing in groups and they play in round robin, and thus affording the children some extra amount of playing time.
The games will be played at 9 venues in 10 districts. 31 schools are scheduled to take part in the competition with 31 male and 26 female teams. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
And now for the weather forecast.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Annie Corrette Joseph. The Atlantic high pressure system was the dominant feature across the region today, resulting in partly cloudy to cloudy skies. Visible satellite images showed low-level clouds over Dominica during the course of the afternoon, resulting in mostly cloudy skies. Radar imagery indicated some shower activity across the Lesser Antilles this afternoon. Conditions for tonight: partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with some scattered showers. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers and some breezy conditions as well. Sea conditions: moderate in open water with waves up to 8 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers, you should continue to exercise caution for above normal seas and brisk winds. Taking a look at the next 3 days: tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers, some breezy conditions as well. On Wednesday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. And on Thursday, partly cloudy skies to occasionally cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Wind speeds are expected to gradually decrease by Thursday. Taking a look at the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be expected throughout. On the international scene, overcast skies with some rain in New York, partly cloudy skies in Miami, clear skies in London and in Beijing, some partly cloudy skies with some showers in Caracas, and some cold temperatures in New York, London and in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:36 a.m. and set at 5:56 p.m. For up-to-date information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and join us next time. Good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. St. Lucian's charge in the first murder case for the year. Juvenile Reform Center is still on government's plan, and new legislation on public order to advance this year. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.